I wasn't really planning on making this video today. I was gonna go outside and do some shooting, but yeah. What's up? My name is Chris Tayez. I'm a photographer and videographer based in Ontario, Canada. I mainly shoot portraits, events, weddings. On the video side, I do a lot of commercial work and I make these silly YouTube videos. And today we're talking about this monstrosity, this crazy setup that we have going here. This is my sort of pseudo run and gun documentary setup for my Nikon Z6iii. And we're gonna talk through a little bit of how I set things up and why I do it a certain way, and how I've liked using this so far for some of my work. So let's just dive into the gear and get that out of the way. Everything here can be purchased through the links below. I'm not saying you have to use them, but that will be a helpful place to find the things. There's certain updates to models that I think you actually would be better off, and those are the ones that I'm going to actually put into the description as well, so you can see what those are. But I think this setup is pretty good. It works pretty well for like run and gun doc making, which is the kind of stuff that I do a lot of. So what do we have here? We have the OC T5 Plus monitor, this little field monitor. It's fine. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I think there's some issues that I've come up with when it comes to using it specifically with the Nikon Z6iii that are a little bit annoying and would make me question whether or not this is the right monitor for me. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so we're recording on the monitor right now. And something interesting about this monitor is that anytime that it is no longer receiving a signal, like for example, when I turn off the camera or when the camera goes into sleep mode, it goes black. And that is not the end of the world. It just takes a second to restart. So it kind of goes black and goes to its like OC standard screen. The issue is that if I am recording a video and then I hit the record button again because I want to stop it, so we're going to stop this recording, it goes black. And then it takes a second and then it comes back to life. So there's like a 3-second lag from the time that you stop recording to the time you can start recording again using the monitor. Now it's instantaneous with the actual camera. So like I can start it, stop it, start it, and it'll be recording again. And then when it comes back on, when you'll see that it's recording again, but it's still a pain and it's just not very intelligent feeling. So that's something that I don't love. The really great thing though is that if you look here, you can see that this monitor can hook into my camera via a full-size HDMI. That's so nice. So I have this set up with a little rig here where I have a little HDMI connector going from here to here, and then I have my HDMI cable plugged in right here. The reason I do that is because it's just a little bit safer than having the HDMI directly into the camera, so you don't, if you pull on it or something, it'll pull out of that HDMI connector rather than pulling out of your whole camera. The monitor itself is powered using just an MPF battery. You can get bigger or smaller ones. This is quite a big chunky boy, but it does provide longer lasting, battery life, which is good. Attaching the monitor to the top handle is this little guy here. I will put the model name up somewhere. See it? Yeah. This is cool because this allows me to go directly into my handle here, and then I can just tighten this or loosen it, and I can articulate this however I need to. So that's super nice. And then once I have it in the place I want it, if I want to tighten it up, I can do that and make it really nice and tight, so it's quite difficult to move it. However, I do find that the resistance on it is actually pretty good, even if it's not all the way tightened. So I can leave it kind of like this, and then I can change it as I need to, and it'll stay. It won't fall down or have any issues there. From there, we have this sweet boy here. This is the Comica VM30. This is a super cool mic. It is a wireless shotgun mic, which means that I can have it set up just like this, or I can attach this to a receiver and use this as a wireless shotgun, which is very cool. Probably the most helpful piece of kit that I've had on certain shoots where I didn't know what I was getting into. And if all of a sudden I needed to just get my shotgun mic really close to something, or I all of a sudden needed to film an interview and I wanted to have better quality audio, I could just throw this onto a little light stand and have it near them and have directional audio that's nice and close. I film a lot of my YouTube videos with it. I think it's great. I will say that the audio quality on it is it's fine. It's not incredible. I think if you know what you're doing in like DaVinci or whatever you're using as your editor, if you know what you're doing, you can make the audio sound really good. I'm not the best with audio though, so I find that it takes a lot of work for me to get this sounding as good as I want it to. And anyone who watches my videos knows that my audio is definitely my weak point, and I'm sorry. Specifically, Adam, you're always on me about it, and I get it, and I appreciate you for that. Other than that, I've got this little magnetic VND and black mist filter on here. Just kind of clicks on and clicks into place. That's nice. This is the 40mm f2 from Nikon, but you could obviously use whatever you want to use for that. And that's the setup. Let's talk a little bit more about the Nikon Z6iii and what I think about the image quality, how I like working with it as a video camera, because I do use it for a lot of my photo work as well. Nikon for video. It's an interesting question because I think the footage itself looks excellent. I think it's really, really high quality. I think, you know, filming even in like the flat or neutral profile, you have so much latitude with the files and it looks really, really nice. One thing I'll say is that the 4K 60 on this does look really nice. You know, I was shooting the other day with my buddy Craig. We're working on some reels and some social stuff for him. And honestly, like I love the look of the footage slowed down. I think it has a really nice quality to it. I don't do a lot of like 4K 60, but when I do, it's nice to have it look the way that this footage looks. So I've been messing around with how I have this set up, and basically now I have the ISO mapped to my focus ring, which means I can go higher or lower in ISO really, really easily and quickly. And that is a little bit smoother than using steps, because I can just gradually go up, gradually go down. And then to make it easier for this kind of setup, I have my function button down here mapped to my record, so I can just really easily stop the recording or start the recording like this. Having said that, when I'm switching to a manual focus setup, obviously I can't do that with the ISO ring, and that provides a whole other issue. But for like run and gun stuff where you can actually trust the focus point, it's totally fine. So if we're doing manual focus, you can see I have a few things to help me here. I have focus peaking turned on my camera itself. There's two other things I can do here. You know, using this, you can see I actually physically have this little dial here that's telling me how close or far I'm focusing, just a little helpful reminder. So I can kind of fine tune it like that. And then I can actually throw on focus assist with the same color of blue on my monitor, and that is helping too. That's getting me just a little bit closer to that fine focusing. The thing about this monitor that's sort of funny is like, because right now we're not doing a clean feed, we're actually showing everything that's on my monitor from my camera. So you can see like the record button and all that stuff. All of that is going to be highlighted in blue because it doesn't discern whether or not that's in the picture or that is menu settings. And that's, you know, something that you get when you have a cheaper monitor. So your monitor, if it's better, probably won't do that, but mine does, because mine's special. Okay, but this setup is silly and not what I would necessarily do in most situations. So I'm gonna strip it down a little bit and we'll see what it looks like when I'm just using the camera in the way that I would probably do it. Let's say I was doing like a highlight video or something like that, where I know that the footage I am using, I'm only gonna kind of need scratch audio because I might put like, you know, a song or something over it. Let's look at that setup. All right, sweet, that's gone. All right, so this is our setup. Pretty small and tiny, pretty effective. Now, if I'm not trying to specifically capture audio, this is all I need. If I do want some audio, might take this guy and throw it back on. I might just grab the little Rode Video Micro. I might even do something that I've been experimenting with a little bit lately that has been kind of cool. So this is the Lark M2. The little receiver is up top on the camera I'm using right now, which is the Nikon ZF, by the way, and I have it attached here. What I've been experimenting with doing when I'm trying to get scratch audio is actually using this setup. So I take the receiver, pop it on here, and then the mic itself, I actually have two mics with it. So what I'll do is usually I'll put one of them on myself. I might just have it here sitting somewhere convenient like this. I might have it on the top of my hat, which is actually really helpful. And the idea is I'm just trying to capture ambient sound. The other thing I can do though is I can take that other little magnetic mic just like this, and I can pop it in different areas where I feel like I might need it. And it's really, really fast and easy to set up somewhere. So if I know that, you know, I'm filming some sports stuff and I know that like there's gonna be like a huddle up where a bunch of them are talking or something like that, I'll just pick one of them and I'll just throw it on them, or I might put it in the center of them. If they're like huddled around a table or something like that, everybody's talking, I can literally just throw it there. Again, this is not what I would do if I need like high quality, like perfect audio. This is just scratch audio to have, but it can be really helpful. So that's it. We got a handle, we got a cage, and that's my super run and gun setup if I'm just doing scratch audio. So would this be my #1 pick for a camera for video if I was only shooting video? No. What if I was only shooting Nikon? Also no. I think if I was not in the Nikon system, I probably wouldn't go to Nikon just for video. I would probably realistically go to Canon or Sony, and probably I would be going to Sony. That's not because I think Sony is a super awesome brand and I love using it. I actually don't really like using Sony cameras that much, but I do think that their video performance is very good. The files are great, there's a million lenses. I just think it makes a lot of sense. If I was sticking in the Nikon system, I would probably look at this or the Nikon Z6iii. I think the Z6iii does have some options to it that are really compelling for video, that are really good, but 90% of that are things you can do on this and you're gonna save yourself some scratch, so not a bad idea. I love the form factor. I think it's really, really great. The fact that it does have a flip out screen is also really helpful. So the Z6iii only has the kind of tilt screen that articulates up, but for somebody like me who puts his face in front of a camera all the time, being able to have the flip out screen is really, really helpful. That way you don't have to attach a monitor every single time. This is much better for, I would say, the current state of filmmaking when it comes to like small content creators. This is the camera from Nikon for that. Nikon though, I don't know, man, the files look good. The files look really good. I'm pretty stoked on the color and the feel of the files, and they're just really easy to work with. So Nikon gets a +1 from me for that, and I'm stoked I'm shooting on this. So you're gonna see lots more content about this moving forward and content from this. I'm gonna be shooting my next documentary on this, which is very exciting, so stay tuned for that. And I don't know, it's super snowy out. I guess I'm gonna go to the gym. Bye.